YouTube? It's your old pal Joe here, and guess what? I'm running out of beer. It's time to brew a beer. I'm drinking wine right now. What is this madness? I don't know. I don't know what this is. So, we're going to be brewing up a beer today, but before that I should tell you about the wine. This is the limited edition 2014 Shiraz Viognier. Really nice kit. We'll get some light. Some lovely light here. Yeah, this was their 25-year anniversary, so this was last year's edition. And man, they're getting good. Not to plug the shop, but I'm gonna. BIY Homebrew Supply, my homebrew shop. We've got the limited edition 15 kits on pre-order right now, so if you're looking to get one, you really should. If you like wines, man, this year's a knockout. So, cheers. Oh, delicious. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a beer kit, actually. We're going to be doing Brewer's Best Oatmeal Stout. As I'm sure you all know, the Brewer's Best line is one of my favorites. They're a go-to for me. I bounce back and forth between all grain and extract, really completely dependent upon my time. If I've got the time, I'll do all grain. If I don't have the time, like today, it's already dark out. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's pitch black outside. It's only like 6 o'clock. It's ludicrous. That drives me nuts. I love cooler weather, but I hate the darkness. Anyway, shouldn't say that. I like Halloween, so I certainly like some dark things. But we're going to be doing the Oatmeal Stout. Go-to with Brewer's Best. You gotta love them. Now, this is in their intermediate line of kits. So some folks here intermediate and they think, oh gosh, it's too much, I won't be able to handle that. Well, actually, yes, you can. You may notice step-by-step instructions, very easy to follow. Just like any other Brewer's Best kit, or the kits that I make for BIY Homebrew, great instructions. You gotta love that. The big difference between the intermediate kits and the easy kits is really typically one of two things. One, it's a lager and it needs to ferment at 50 degrees, which clearly an oatmeal stout is not, or it has a steep to convert step. So you hear steep to convert, what's that? Almost all the Brewer's Best kits, almost all the homebrew kits out there really if they're good, will have some steeping grains in them. Or if it's really light. I shouldn't say if it's good. If it's a real light beer, a lot of times you don't need the steeping grains because the extract pretty much does the job. But if it's a beer that's got more body, more flavor, you're going to have that steeping step. So we're all familiar with that. You take a bag of grains, you steep them for 20 minutes, pull it out, bring it up to a boil, and away you go. Well, the steep to convert step is a little bit different. And of course, they've got step-by-step instructions on what to do. A steep to convert is essentially a small mini mash that you'll be doing. And they tell you exactly what to do here. So, I've went ahead and taken the liberty to get the water started heating up. For every 2 pounds of grain that's included in the recipe, pour 1 gallon of water into the brew pot. And this is, let's see, 2 pounds, 10 ounces. So I poured right at about 1.5 gallons of water in there. Should work out just fine. Essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to heat this water up to 155 degrees, add in the grains that are in the bag, get them all doughed in, and then try to hold it at 150 to 152 degrees. I believe they recommend here 148 to 152. Yep, so that's the saccharification temperature range for an all-grain recipe. And this recipe calls, it's got pound of oats, 10 ounces dark chocolate, 12 ounces of 2-row pale, and 6 ounces of Victory. So the Victory and the 2-row are going to give us enzymes to convert some starches into sugars, as well as those oats are going to give us awesome bodies. So, you know, without further ado, you've heard the grain bill. There's 3.3 pounds of light liquid malt, 3 pounds of dark dry malt, half a pound of maltodextrin. There's 1 ounce of Centennial hops, or Centennial type hops, I should say. That is slightly different. And right on top, Windsor yeast. So nice English yeast. It's going to give it a nice, good flavor. So without further ado, let's get the grains bagged up and ready to go once the temperature hits on this water, alright? So I'm not sure if that was meant to happen, but there are actually 2 bags in my little kit here. So I'm going to take, I think, the 2-row and the flaked oats, put them together, and then put the Victory and the crushed and the dark chocolate in another one. Logic there is that this will work on the flaked oats a little bit, get a little bit more conversion. I don't know. They don't mention it in the instructions there. They say take your bag, which means I think they just threw in an extra on accident. But we'll take it. So I'm going to set this aside for just a moment. This is our crushed 2-row pail. In it goes. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, one down. Now flaked oats. I think this bag's a little large. Yeah, doesn't matter. We'll just do it from the top. Pop that over there. Same deal. My technique is to take the bag and wrap it around the top of your other bag. Invert. Give it a shake. Done. So there's one bag. And I'm going to tie it further back so that way there's plenty of room to move. Okay, so one down. Now we'll take this here. Whoop! Done. It's magic. Or just done too many beers. Never such thing, right? So there we go. Those are prepped. Now we just got to wait for this to get up to temp. Okay, as I'm sure you can see there, we have reached 155. So I'm going to kill the heat real quick. We are going to pull this out of the way for the time being. And just go ahead and get this in. So this is the 2-row and the flaked oats. Whoop! And this is the Victory and the dark chocolate. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to essentially dough them in. I'm going to poke them, make sure that you get all that grain soaked, because that will be what makes the magic happen. So they tell you in the instructions that you may need a smaller pot to do this. This is your standard 5-gallon brew kettle, the same one that we sell at our shop. And look at that. It looks beautiful. Works like a champ. I knew it would, because that is why I sell it. It is good. It's the right size. Okay, so now I'm going to find a spot here, pop that in without poking through a bag, and then we're going to check our temp. Now, the way that I'm going to regulate this is I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's on the hot burner right now, so you can see it's a little, let's see, 152. We're going to move it over here. That's what I was going to say. We'll move it over. I'll move it back and forth until so like you can see, there we go, about 152, 154. So I'm going to pull that off there. We're taking the lid. Put the lid right on it here. Let me just actually pan over here. Hopefully it's all aligned. There we go. That's not too bad. Pop the lid like that. Give it a cover. And let it basically sit and steep, or steep to convert, for the next 45 minutes. So it's going to take a little bit of time. But that's going to make sure that you get that starch conversion. So, you know what, YouTube? We will see you in 45 minutes. So there you have it. It has been officially 45 minutes. And now we're ready to basically pull those bags out. So I brought up one of my strainers here. It's small, so I'm not quite sure how well I'll do here. But it should work out just fine. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to take the big one first, because that's the one that's got the base malts in it. Put it on the bottom. There it is. Don't want to just stick your hand in there. It is a little toasty. Pull that up. And you don't want to squeeze it. That can release tannins, and tannins are that bitter kind of flavor, like what you find in tea. Whoop. There we go. So we'll just let that go. So one thing they also recommend, if you can, is to basically do a small sparge on these grains. And a sparge is basically just I'm just leveling this out, I'm not pressing down really hardly at all, is a fancy word for rinse. So I went ahead and heated up some water here, and we're just going to slowly pour it across the top. They recommend right around 150 degrees. That's where this is roughly. So, and basically what we do is we slowly pour some water over the top of here. And as it works its way through the grain, it's going to pull out more sugars, more flavor, more better. Delicious. And all this just takes a little bit longer. It's not any harder. We get a lot of folks ask, you know, how hard is the intermediate kits? You know, can I do that with my regular setup? Yeah, of course you can. Just takes a little more time. A little more time, and you got to pay attention to it. I'd say I probably checked on the grains here 10 times in that 40 minutes. You know, you adjust the heat up, you take it off, you move it around. This one kept pretty much constantly at that 149 to 150 is basically where it kept. So that's going to work out just fine. So, not going too fast, we want it to go slowly through those grains. And yeah, so I'm just going to keep doing this until we get through. I've got 2 pots about this size of water. Should get us up to our 2.5 to 3 gallons boil volume. And then yeah, we basically are going to blend in all of our malt extracts, and we're going to bring it up to the boil. So I'm not going to bore you with this anymore. We'll come back once everything's heated up and we start adding the malt extracts. Okay, so we've rinsed the grains, I've topped up, it's starting to come up to temperature here. Let's see where we're at, I don't even know. I'm going to go ahead and get the malt extracts incorporated. They recommend bringing it up to a boil and then adding your extracts. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, so that way I don't have to really worry too much about killing heat and losing some time. So just trying to speed it up. It's sitting right at about 152 right now, so not too hot at all. Should work out great. Figure go ahead and just get it incorporated. I've got my liquid malt extract here in a bath of hot water. And the instructions call for adding everything. So I'm going to go ahead and take the priming sugar, because I don't prime obviously anymore. Go ahead and get that in there too. So get the mix going here. Get our sugars added. In like flame. Done. Okay, maltodextrin. Never used maltodextrin in a recipe before, so this will be new. It's a thickener, so. Some vortex going on here. The maltodextrin is quite poofy, actually. We'll break that up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add our malt extract, the dry first, because this is the stuff, every time I use malt extract, it seems that it's pretty darn foamy. So, get that incorporated, and then, this is Breeze Traditional Dark. Mmm, smells so good. Folks will tell me that you know, their significant others don't enjoy the smell of brewing or something like that. I don't know. I find that hard to believe. It smells so good. I love it, of course. I'm going to switch hands here. I'm actually right-handed, so... kind of steady stream. So it is clumping up a little bit here. I'm guessing because the temperature is not up to boiling, you know, it's not just instantly melting it in, you know. But it will get incorporated. I'm not too worried about that. The Brewer's Best directions also call for boiling a minimum of 2.5 gallons of water. This here's pushing probably 3.5. They say, you know, that it's never a problem to have more water incorporated, but you don't want to go below their recommended. And the reason is that it can caramelize, and obviously you don't want it to caramelize. I don't know a single kit where you caramelize it. Oh, it smells like heaven! So the steam always is going to make the end of the bag here just get all kinds of gummy. I'll call that. I think that's good. Not sure if you can see here, it's gone foamy. Of course, like I said, dry malt extract seems to foam up a little bit more. Almost all those little bits and bobs are already reincorporated, so can't beat that. Couple little clumps of maltodextrin, I'm sure they'll melt in. So now I'm going to grab the liquid malt extract. So the liquid malt extract is that we're going to add it really slow. I'm not going to take it off the heat, but instead I'm going to keep stirring really quickly. And that's how you do it. I always recommend folks take it off the heat because the liquid malt extract, it's so thick, it's like molasses, it just sinks right to the bottom. But if you blend it in nice and quick, you can actually leave it on the heat. But like I said, unless you've done this a lot, like I have, you probably don't want to do that. You probably just want to take it off the heat real quick, get it incorporated, make sure it's completely melted in, well, not really melted in, dissolved in, and then get it incorporated. Or back on the heat, I should say. Because yeah, scorched beer, no good. No good! Ooh, look at that. It's pressurized even. So welcome to my kitchen. It's a little bit of a disaster right now, of course. You know, it's a brew evening, I should say. This stuff smells so good. Again, folks that say it doesn't smell good, I'd be suspect on. Get this malt here incorporated, might as well. Take my knife, give it a swipe, swipey swipe. Yummy. And always taste. Tastes delicious. Okay. So, it's very, very liquidy right now, the malt extract, the liquid malt, because I've had it in super hot water. So watch this. Look at that thin stream there. So we're just going to thin stream it, keep mixing like crazy, get all that incorporated. That's why it was all poofed up. It was getting hot in there, so it was expanding. But you blend it nice and slow in while it's hot, and you can do a thin ribbon like this. You don't really have to worry about it sinking in too much. It's almost like water already, which is good. All the while I'm stirring, I've got it on the bottom of the pot so I can feel if anything starts to make it down there. If it starts to stick or anything, or I feel anything, I'm like, what's that? So far I haven't felt anything like that. Lovely. Okay, give it a scrape here. And you don't want to leave any of that delicious malt extract behind. It worked so hard to be so delicious and so perfect for you, you might as well use every little bit. Some folks will mix some hot water in there. You can certainly do that. I've also been known to dip in a little bit. As long as the outside of it is spotlessly clean. Which I've got a little bit of, I don't know what that is on the outside of this, so I'm not doing that with this one. I don't know, it looks almost like some packaging dust or something. I don't know, what did I have that in? I don't know what that is, so we're not going to do that. We will try to get, though, like I said, scrape it, give it a good scrape, try to get it, you know, every little bit. Delicious. Okay, that's not too bad. I can live with that. So I don't feel anything there on the bottom. We're good, alright. So you can see that brought the liquid level up. We're probably just shy of 4 gallons at this point, somewhere around there. In between 3.5 and 4. And yeah, I'm not feeling anything sticking, so it's good. I'm going to keep stirring here, and then once we get up to a boil, we will add our one and only hop addition, the Centennial type, which is buried over here. 1 ounce at 9.7 alpha. So that's going to be 1 bittering hop addition. It's pretty standard in stouts like that. Just want the bitter to balance out all this delicious, roasty, malty goodness. Oaty too. Okay, we're coming up on the hot break here. Got to keep an eye on it because this is where the boil over happens. So have your water bottle handy. And I'm also ready to just grab this and fling it over to the other part of the stove here. Just to be, this is a little more liquid volume than I'm used to actually out here, it seems. I don't know. Maybe it's been just a while since I brewed, so now I'm gun shy again. But typically this little spritzer does the trick. And you just get it past that hot break, and then so I feel that we are past the hot break here. I could probably dial it down actually a little bit. Interesting. This stove's old, and so I never really know where to keep it, you know. I've had problems boiling this much water at once, and it would not boil, so maybe it's feeling happy tonight, I don't know. So we've got our ounce of Centennial type hops here. They look beautiful. Oh, smell like heaven. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and incorporate these nice and slow, because the pot's full. If you just add them slow, you typically don't have to worry about that flare-up that can happen when you introduce hops. Anytime you add your hops, of course, it can flare up and cause a boil over, so you just add them a little bit at a time. We're boiling these for 60 minutes anyway, so it's you know, not like this is super specific timing. Anywhere around 60 to 70 minutes will work just fine. We're looking just to get the bitters out of it, to balance out all that delicious malt in there. Look at that, that's beautiful. Brewer's Best Oatmeal Stout. I've never made this kit. I told Nikki to, gosh, it's been about a week ago or so. I was like, hey, if there's any beer kits that sound good, or you think we should brew up, just bring them on home. They're on me. So she brought this one home. And another one I'm sure we'll be brewing it up too, but So yeah, there we go. All incorporated, no flare-ups, voila. I'm gonna kick the heat a little bit more here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my handy dandy phone for 60 minutes. Doing that full hour-long boil to incorporate those lovely, lovely hops. And then we will begin basically just cooling it down. So this is a nice, simple boil. Keep an eye on it, of course, the first several minutes here. You should keep an eye on your boil the entire time, I should say. Full disclaimer, if you boil over and burn your house down, it's not my fault. It's on you. But basically, I keep an eye on it the first, say, like 5-10 minutes. Make sure nothing's going weird. It's not boiling too hot. It's not boiling too slow. And then I'll just let it do its thing for the next, 50 more minutes. So, all right. We will check back when it's time to cool this batch down. Okay, so our batch is pretty much cooled down now. It was sitting right just below 80 degrees. So we shall see. Let's see, what am I doing here? Let's actually, we'll get this incorporated in here. So, cleaned and sanitized fermenting bucket, of course. Wouldn't want it any other way. Oop, I forgot my strainer upstairs and it's dirty. So we're gonna go for it. We're just gonna get this done here. I'll try to avoid pouring in the tube. Like motor oil, looks beautiful. Whoop. And I'm not sure if you can see that in there. You see kind of the green particles there in the bucket. Let's see if we can get this up here. See all that stuff on the side there? That was from the liquid on the bottom there. Let's see if I can swirl it around. Look at all those hops in there. That's where all the hops were. It was only an ounce, so we're only going to lose, a couple ounces of liquid. That works just fine for me. So go ahead and get my cold water going here. Top it up to our 5-gallon mark. Where is my 5-gallon? Here it is. It's like, where is my 5-gallon mark? I don't remember. Alright. So there we go. We'll take, let's see here. Take our spoon. Oh, we'll drain this out here too already. That's full of all the recirculating cooling water. This is some sulfite sanitizer, so on contact, instant sanitizer. Gotta love that. Give it a quick rinse here. Grab my handy dandy refractometer. Give it a sanitizing as well there. Well, the dropper, not the refractometer doesn't matter. So, pull our reading here. You only need a couple drops worth. That's the benefit of the refractometer. So to take a refractometer reading, you've got it here. You just pop this up, put your sample right there on the little lens. Pop this down. And now we'll look at that through the bright light here. See if I... That's actually saying 1078, which I think is way too high. Did I not have this up to... well, that's actually not entirely up to. I jumped the gun, YouTube. I thought I was there. There it is. I was going to say, I was like, that seems awfully high gravity for an Oatmeal Stout. Whoops. As I break stuff now. I'm throwing off my game. Lucky for me, that actually landed on a water hose I have here. It's a drain for our dehumidifier. So. Alright. So let me just dry that off. We'll try this again. We'll give it a little bit of a mix, get that water incorporated. We'll try this again. So 1078 for an Oatmeal Stout. From just a small amount of extract, you know something's not quite right with that. All right. Again. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, it's still it's 1074. That's a lot higher than I thought it would be. And we are at the 5-gallon mark. So, could be some extras here, but you know what? I don't even have the instructions here. What we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead, it is right at that 5-gallon mark, so I'm going to go ahead, we're going to get the yeast incorporated. Why not? Let's just let her go. Let nature be nature, right? At the end of the day, all these... brewing and winemaking is a biological process anyway, right? So, here we go. I'll just get her incorporated her. I do remember some folks tell me stir in, some folks say not stir in, and ingredients will sometimes say stir in, some will say don't stir in. I'm going to stir this one in. I feel like it. Honestly, I don't think it matters. Alright. Pop that over there. Sanitized lid. Okay, I always get it to that one side so the airlock fits through. Right. Now, our airlock here. We'll go ahead and we'll sanitize its bits and bobs. I've just got, like I said, it's sulfite solution in a spray bottle. Sulfite, nice powerful sanitizer, pretty much instant acting. Give it a rinse here. Okay. So I've got water in the airlock already, but I haven't put in, obviously my hand's been sanitized, Haven't put any of this in yet. We're going to get it over to the fermentation chamber, and then I'll put these bits in, because as it expands and stuff, sometimes you'll draw liquid in or out, so we'll just we'll wait for that. So we'll see you in just a minute. So there we go, YouTube. It's in the fermentation chamber. We've got the airlock on the top with the water and the cap on. It's sitting right at, well, in between 72, 73 degrees. So, yeah, a little bit warm. The fridge will take care of that, so no worries there. And yeah, so now we'll give this, I'm going to give it at least a week to 2 weeks in primary. We'll take a reading, we'll see how it's doing, and then if it's looking good, maybe go ahead and do a carboy treatment on it. Being a stout, it'll benefit from a little aging. I do have 2 kegs that are open right now, or 2 kegs that just blew, 2 that are already open, 1 that needs repaired. So I've got open kegs. I may go ahead and just secondary in there as long as there's not a whole lot of sediment left in the actual liquid. So we'll kind of call that once we get to that point. I'll probably give it, I like giving it 2 weeks in the bucket. So 2-week bucket, 2-week carboy, 2-week in the keg. That should be a good ratio for it. So you could certainly, you know, if in 2 weeks it's looking good, I may go ahead and keg it. As long as it's looking clear. I don't want to have a whole bunch of sediment in there. You know what I mean? A little bit higher gravity than I anticipated, so can't beat that. Alrighty, so there you go, YouTube. It was a lot higher gravity than anticipated. The original gravity here, they say 1064 would be the high end, so we were just above that. I took it to my same 5-gallon mark that I typically do. So could have been that we got a really good conversion from our grains. That could be the case because we did keep it right at 149 to 150, which is the low end of a mash, meaning we're making more simple sugars there, so should ferment out pretty well. At the end of it, we'll just see where it ends. According to this, the finishing gravity should be between 1016 and 1020, which would net you at 5.5 to 6% alcohol. If we're a little bit higher than that, meaning we had some unfermentables in there, we may still be in that 5.5–6% range. So we'll take a look at that. But yeah, for the most part, very good brew day. Can't complain about that. I know some folks have asked me about, do mini mashes really yield a better flavor? Does all grain taste different? Does extra, ins and outs of it? And the easy answer is yes to all of the above. Every process is going to yield you a little bit different flavor. So, for example, we did a mini mash today. Should have a little bit more of a grainy kind of presence to it. The oatmeal should pop really nicely. We're getting some fresh sugars out of there. Of course, we used a dark malt extract, which has more caramels and the roasted malts in there, so it's a little bit less fermentable. So that leaves residuals, of course. And then, of course, through processing and stuff, there's going to be something left over from that too. So yes, from mini mashing you do get a pretty nice character out of it because you're essentially doing a small amount of all grain and then basically topping it up sugar-wise with some extract. So an easier way to give some all grain brewing a try. We've got kits at the shop that are brew in a bag, which is gigantic nylon bag. It's an all grain recipe in a giant nylon bag, in one kettle. Basically, our steep to convert step there, where we did all the mashing of the grains right there in the pot, that's what you do in brew in a bag. So that's the full all grain version of what we just did. So some folks will say sing one praises, damn the other. Honestly, this is the first time I've done a full mini mash like this. I've done steeping grain recipes before where there have been a lot of grains and I've let them go for a little bit longer. But this is the first one where it was very specifically for conversion. The bulk of the sugars, of course, from the extract, but there was conversion there. And I tasted a little bit of it and it was very sweet. So we did get good conversion. I didn't do my iodine test like I usually do. Shoot, I should have done that. So yeah, so overall, good brew day. This is bubbling away here. This is a port kit, actually, or dessert wine. It's the chocolate salted caramel from Wine Expert. Very excited about that. Yeah, so if you have any questions about the steep to convert or mini mashing, anything like that, leave a comment down below. If you've got other experiences or if you typically do steep to convert or mini mash in your extract recipes, leave a note down below, let folks know. One thing I have noticed, especially in the last, say, 6 months or so to a year, a lot of folks watching my videos they're reading the comments. So if you leave a comment down below, there's a good chance that we may start a whole, community conversation here about the steep to convert step. So Brewer's Best kit, there's several of them that include the steep to convert. There are several local homebrew shops, recipes that I've seen that have a steep to convert step. So you gotta say, there's something to it. Everyone wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't a reason for it. So we will see in the official taste testing, a couple months from now, how it actually turned out. Sugar was up. The smell was awesome. The little bit of wort that I did taste tasted great. So I'm excited to see how this one goes. I've dialed it in. It's going to be sitting at 68 degrees exactly on the dual temperature, or dual range, digital thermostat here. So hopefully we will get a cleaner fermentation. Windsor yeast is an English one, so it kicks off a fruity flavor. Shouldn't kick off too much of like the porter fruitiness if we keep it a little bit cooler, and that's what I'm going for with this one. So yeah, you can hear fridge is on, it's rolling, and yeah, without further ado, thanks as always for watching YouTube. I really appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe on it, like the video, share with your friends. The more the merrier. Certainly can't hurt. And then also, of course, check out DIYHomebrewSupply.com, my homebrew shop. Obviously, we've got this exact kit. This is where I got it. So if you want to give it a go, it'll be there. There'll be a link down in the description for that too. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. Shoot me notes. I'm happy to help in any way I can. And ooh, what is this? Glass 3 of wine? Life is good. Cheers, YouTube. Oh, I forgot my wine. I forgot my beverage. I can't make beer with no beverage. What? Okay, I'm gonna go fix that.
How's my hair? How's my hair? Oh, look good. I gotta look good for YouTube. Hi, YouTube.
Bubble away, 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 bubble away. Ooh, hey, what? Bubble away, bubble away, bubble away. Oh, what? Huh? Bubble away. Oh, what? Bubble away. Woo!